Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for us for Friday, the 25th day of July. Here we go. Now, during the 9 days, when they arrive, and they're only a couple of days away now, the halacha will be that you're not supposed to wear freshly laundered clothing during the 9 days. You're not supposed to be involved with laundry at all during the 9 days. So let's do all the specifics of that. If you wanted to go during the 9 days to the dry cleaners to get something dry cleaned, want to pick it up during the 9 days, not kosher. You're not supposed to do that. If you want to drop it off at the dry cleaners and you want to pick it up after the 9 days are over, it's still not right of you to be involved in dropping it off there at the cleaners during the 9 days, because that kind of takes your mind away from, it looks like you don't really care about the sadness of the 9 days. If you want to take something to the cleaners before the 9 days, that's allowed, and maybe pick it up after the 9 days. If he's going to wash it or clean it during the 9 days, that's his business, and I guess he's not Jewish, but you could drop it off there before the 9 days. You just shouldn't be involved with the drop-off or the pickup during the 9 days, because that looks like the sadness of the 9 days doesn't mean a whole lot to you. Now, added to this law is this interesting little point, and that is that when you take things out of your closet in the morning to wear, and let's use a shirt as an example, and that shirt is hanging there freshly laundered in the closet. It was washed before the 9 days, as you were supposed to, and it's hanging there in the closet freshly laundered with that wonderful feeling that we all like, and when we put it on, it just feels like, the smell of a clean shirt and, all that. Well, we're supposed to forego that wonderful feeling during the 9 days, and therefore the more appropriate thing to do is, if you never heard of this before, it's going to sound weird to you, but it is the halacha that you should take the number of shirts that you're going to wear during the 9 days and put them on the day before the 9 days for a few moments each. Now they're not fresh anymore because they've been on you for a few minutes. Put them back in the closet, and then each day when you put them on, I'm serious, if you never heard of this, this is not a joke. This is really the halacha, and that way you're not putting on freshly laundered shirts during the 9 days, and you're foregoing that wonderful pleasure during the 9 days. If you forgot to do that before the 9 days, there is a second option of how to do this, and that is to take the freshly laundered shirt that you're about to put on in the morning of the 9 days and just drop it on the ground for a moment, and it becomes a little bit dusty. You don't have to make it filthy, but just a little bit unfresh, and not stained, just a little bit unfresh, and then you can put it on, and then you too have taken away from yourself the joy of that freshly laundered clothing. This does not apply at all to undergarments. They are allowed to be freshly laundered. This kind of law does not apply to that because those are just basic hygiene and they can be freshly laundered. We're talking specifically here about shirts and things. Now, this doesn't apply so much to suits because I don't think every one of your suits is just sitting there in the closet all freshly laundered all the time, unless you're a really fancy guy. But if you do have a freshly laundered straight from the dry cleaner that you picked up before the 9 days, you will do that the same thing to the jacket, just so that it's not freshly laundered. But socks and underwear, they're fine. They can be freshly laundered, and that's totally fine. If you have little children and they are, just tearing through all of their clean clothing, and by the time you're halfway through the 9 days, there's just nothing left for them to wear, you could launder quietly, privately, not make a big deal out of it, but just get done what you need to get done so that your little children can have clean clothes to wear. Thanks for logging on. Have a great Shabbos. Enjoy Shabbos. No mourning on Shabbos. No sadness is shown on Shabbos. And have a wonderful Shabbos, and log on for more laws on the other side of Shabbos. Bye-bye.